This is the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast, your source for the strategies, systems, and smarts you need to turn possibility into purpose. Every week, we dive into dynamic conversations as our host, Nicole Greer, interviews leadership and business experts. They're here to shed light on practical solutions to the challenges of personal and professional development. Now, here's your host, a professional speaker, coach, and consultant, Nicole Greer.
Welcome, everybody, to the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. This is Nicole Greer, and I'm excited to talk to you today. I have got a great guest on the show. Her name is Kim Butler, and look what good friends send you in the mail. Their latest book, and this is number 11. Do I have my story right, Kim?
You do.
Okay, so look at this. And I just got to say, I talk to so many people and the glass is half full. Busting the Scarcity Mindset, your guide to becoming a prosperity thinker. It's all about mindset, people. All right, so let me read to you a little bit about Kim so you know what you're in for here. So she is a financial strategist, an author, a podcaster, and don't miss this. Go to the YouTube immediately if you're listening on Spotify. She is an alpaca farmer. There's her alpaca. So you're like, I should know what that is. They make sweaters, people. All right. So anyways, Kim started her money journey in the 4th grade by selling enough milk to put herself through school. Kim Butler has dedicated over 30 years to helping people buy life insurance nationwide and optimize their finances. Her main effort has centered around helping families develop the mindset and skills needed for financial prosperity, supported by practical tools and consistent education. Kim can help you simplify your savings, automate your assets, and install faith in your finances. She also enjoys shifting the world through a handful of words, both spoken and written. She podcasts with Tom Wheelwright, Garrett Gunderson, Caleb Gilliams, Christina Wise, Jeremy Newsom, Scott Donald, Patrick Donahue, and the amazing Dan Sullivan. So if you don't know who he is, I double dog dare you to Google it. All right. So welcome to the show, Kim. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Always a joy to talk with you. And we both just love this space because it is all about mindset.
Yeah, it's 100% about mindset. And the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to define prosperity. You know, when I look at that word, it's almost like an old word, like a word, that maybe people don't throw around as much as they should. So talk about that.
Well, I have had prosperity in my branding since I was 24 years old. It's just a word that really resonated with me because it means so much more than money. And what I love about not only the mindset space, but the prosperity space in particular is no matter where you are in your financial journey, in your career, in your family life, you can have this. And it is such a shift of thinking. And, one of the people that really got me started on this long ago was Robert Kiyosaki. And most people are familiar with him and his Rich Dad, Poor Dad brand, because he said, you've got to stop asking the question the wrong way. And the question is a statement first, which is, I can't afford it, or I don't have the money for that. That is such a common thing that we say. Shift that around and ask the question, well, how could I afford it? Or how can I afford it? And so this is the kind of thinking that is free, right? It costs us nothing to change mindset.
That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. So I gave that book to my son, I don't know, long time ago. He's in his 30s now. And, the guy's working it at work and he's working the stock market and he's working all the things, and I just think to myself, Kim, so many people just aren't raised with anybody who has this mindset. And I'm going to say I don't know. Is it a bad word? We'll see. Kim will tell me if it's a bad word. But my daddy used to say this thing. He used to say, we don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And I would listen to that and I'd be like, okay. I mean, like he just said stuff like that. So it was normal for me. But what he was declaring, we're poor.
Yeah. Well, and we all have heard or experienced ourselves of people that had amazing childhoods. They felt loved. They felt included. They got to do the things that they wanted to do. And then when they're adults, they look back on it and they think, oh my gosh, we had no money. Like, how did my mom, it's usually,
Yeah.
create the culture, right, of
Right.
the family's love being the primary thing instead of the family's lack?
That's so good. That's so rich. Yeah, because like my own grandmother, who is part of my upbringing, my mom passed away when I was little. She would create these dinners. You'd look in the fridge, you'd be like, "What are we having for dinner?" And then like this feast would be on the table, and she was just like pull a rabbit out of a hat. So, kudos to those moms and those grandmas that did that for us. That's so good. All right. So your book, it starts out at the introduction. You have a great quote in here. It says, "If we command our wealth, we shall be rich and free. If the wealth commands us, we are poor indeed." And that is by Edmund Burke. So if you read this book, Prosperity Thinker, we're going to start to take command over the situation. Is that what's going to happen?
Absolutely. And I have some very specific things that I can share now or later.
Go for it.
Anybody at any stage of the game can do. And so we've already established you got to start with the thinking. It must be a daily effort to adopt prosperous thinking. Try it on, adopt it. Do whatever you've got to do to shift not only the thinking, but then also what comes out of your mouth, right? Because I do believe that we can speak things into existence. So we want to be very careful to remove, and it is a depression era thing, the whole don't have a pot to in and
Oh, it is a bad word.
I'll just be, and it's so pervasive, right? Like you said, it's just got said all the time. Okay, so number one, make sure we're thinking prosperous thoughts, and every scarcity thought that we have, just say thank you for sharing, push it out. And I know you've shared in your work the culture of our mind, right? We talk about cultures of teams, cultures of families, but it's the culture in our mind. Second thing, then, be very, very careful with the words that come out of our mouth. Third thing, and this is the first financial thing that I'll share, and it's a simple step that anybody can do at any level of the game, and it is to stop putting your paycheck in your checking account.
Oh, hold on, everybody. We're on for a wild ride here. Talk about not putting your check in your checking account. Talk about that.
Right,
Why?
because
Like, where's it going to go, Kim?
well, when we put our check in our checking account, it creates unconscious spending, right? So, quick fact, most of us get paid 26 times a year. In the year 2025, we actually get paid 27 times a year. There's some weird anomaly with the way the calendar works, but we only pay our bills 12 times a year. So we could equate that to 24, right? Because that's the way the months and the weeks work. But if it's 24 and we get 26 or even 27 paychecks, what happens to those difference dollars, those extra weeks that we get an income? And this is even more important for people that are on commissions or, gigs, right? Where all their income is different. Well, we just put it all in our checking account that we pay our bills out of, and it creates unconscious spending. So, to answer your question, what we want to do instead is put our earned income, all of it, every gig deal you do, your salary, your bonus, your tax refund, the interest that you get from your investments, all income should go into a different account. Just put it in a separate account and then use that account to put in your checking account only what you need to live on, the exact life that you are living today. And then please stop budgeting.
Okay, so now she's just out of control. Okay, stop budgeting. Now, I want to put a pause on this for just 1 second, because one thing that I want to say is that you might be listening to this podcast going, "Wait, she's not talking about leadership. She's not talking about human resources. She's talking about money and my own money. Wait, am I in the right place?" So I want to say two things about that. One is that all the years that I did HR work, I would say 85% of the problems with my employees who are coming in for employee relations was about the fact that they wanted a raise, they didn't have enough money, and truth telling, honesty, and candor, they weren't managing their money, or they wanted to take umpteen $1,000 out of their 401k and buy a Mustang or something. And, it's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm going to be your mother right now. I'm not your HR director. It's kind of like people need this. We as HR professionals and people who are listening to this normally, this is for us personally. We have to do it ourselves first so that we can experience it, but then we have to help our employees do this. And then the second thing I want to say real quick is the idea of busting scarcity mindset is that many of our leaders are always talking about this thing she just said, budgeting. It's not in the budget. 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 The economy's bad. The economy's bad. The economy's bad. Oh my God, leaders, knock it off. All right. So I've had my say. Kim, thank you for humoring me. Now proceed. Stop
Well,
budgeting, she said. What?
absolutely. And let's take that to another link, which is the challenge of the employee in the workplace when they are mentally pulled by their personal financial situation. They may
Yeah,
not be coming to HR, but they've got it in the back of their head, or they're literally scribbling on an envelope, or they're on their app, or they're doing whatever they're doing during work and distracted by this monetary problem at home. And
hmm
so we have had budgeting apps for what, 20 years, like since the mobile phone existed practically. And the statistics show that none of them really work for long term. You might get it to work for a month or two. And I'm not saying that the act of doing a budget is a bad thing. It's helpful, especially if you just moved or you just gotten a new job or whatever. Great. Line it out, get your numbers. And clearly in the corporate world, we do that, but then
sure.
stop focusing on it. Stop letting it be about the debt you got to pay down or the budget or whatever it is, and put your focus on the value creation that you are doing in and with your family and at your career space. There was just 2 awesome blog posts from Peter Diamandis. Do you still follow him?
Oh, yeah. If you follow Dan Sullivan, are you people writing this down? Get a pen. Dan Sullivan and Peter Diamandis. Yeah, I mean, like you'll live longer, you'll have more money, you'll invent something. I mean,
Well, and that's exactly what Peter was saying. I want to say it was last week and maybe 2 weeks ago. He had 2 fabulous 1-2 punches of the bottom line, which is we are headed into an entrepreneurial world, right? You don't have to own the business, but you absolutely must be an entrepreneurial thinker, which means you come into your workspace every single day looking to create value. And of course, we want to do that when we get home as well. I remember my mom. So we lived on a farm, right? I had to milk cows. I played sports. So we had a very busy like end of day because I would get out of school, play sports, then got to get home. We lived a ways from the high school, get the cows milked, process all the milk, which is literally what I did for my entire 4th grade through 12th grade. I sold
oh, that's so
literally
good.
thousands of gallons of milk. And that's how I had to deal with money. And then we would have to deal with dinner and everything else. Well, my mom was a 2 classes a day kindergarten teacher. Like, can you even imagine?
No,
People,
that's
yeah.
a lot of 5-year-olds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So she would pull into the garage, and we knew because we were often kind of in that space dealing with the milk and everything. We knew to leave mom in the car until she got out because she made a very specific point to get her mindset right from her busy day before she got out of the car, because she wanted to create the right culture in our family
Mhm.
of prosperous thinking. And so it's not just about the money, this busting of the scarcity mindset that we must always be working on. It's about everything. I mean, she could have come home and complained about 14 of her 30 kindergartners in the afternoon class, right?
That's right. And their parents on top.
Oh my word. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So she was very driving of our family's culture of we are prosperous thinkers. And it wasn't just about the money, it was about every single thing in our lives.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, because if you realize how much you have and what is lying ahead of you, and give it intention and attention, you can do great things in this life. Okay, now you've got some core principles in here, and Nicole Greer loves her Shine coaching methodology. So first thing, is we self-assess. Do you have a scarcity mindset, or do you have a prosperity thinking mindset? That's the first thing, self assessment. What's going on with me? The second thing is habits. And these core principles are ways that we look at things, which is a habit of a way of thinking, but
Yep.
also things we can do, right? So the first one's proactive gratitude. You say this principle is as simple as it sounds, it can be hard to act on consistently until, don't miss this, you've established a daily habit of gratitude. Yeah, talk about that.
Gratitude, in my opinion, is frankly even more important than prayer. So often with prayer, we end up pleading, and really
Mhm.
what we should be doing is praising. And whether you're spiritual or not, gratitude is a space that enables you to be a value creator. You said it so well, that intention of a culture of gratefulness. And you absolutely are not going to get more if you're not grateful for what you have. There is a well known story amongst my community of a time in my life when cash was not flowing. Okay. So when things are stuck, whether we're stuck mentally, we're stuck financially, you've got to do something to get that going. Sometimes it's as simple as getting up out of our chairs and walking around, like getting our body to flow a little bit. Well, cash wasn't flowing in my business, and Kiva.org had just come onto the
Oh,
scene. I love them too. I got on there and donated $25, right? 25 bucks. That's
yeah.
all I felt like I
Okay.
could give at the
What
time.
lady in what country? I want to know.
It was a lady with pigs. I don't remember
A
the
lady with
country, but it was with pigs. Yes, because as you well know, one pig can transform a family. And I grew up, not only did I have the dairy cows, I had pigs and I also had sheep, and we showed pigs. I got a whole story about busting scarcity mindset with pigs if you want it.
All
But
right, I want it. I want it. I like pig stories.
that donation got gratitude flowing, right? Which then got money flowing. And I don't even remember what the problem was at the time, but it got the cash moving. And so that's the
Very cool.
kind of thing that we can do. And this is the beauty of it, Nicole, giving gratitude proactively, which means before doesn't, yeah, somebody gives you a, nice meal and you say, thank you. Oh, that's cool. But giving gratitude is also free. And I love to do it before. In fact, when I run events, once the speaker is introduced, I ask the crowd for a standing ovation before the speaker has spoken, because I
Mm.
want that speaker to be given
Full
gratitude,
of
right?
energy. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so I got to tell you my Kiva thing. So when it came out, there was a woman who had, I think it was in Mexico, things she could plug in. And she wanted to buy strips so she could plug in several things, and
Of
she was
course.
going to charge people to charge their cell phone.
Yep.
And I'm like, I love that chick. I'm giving her, I think I gave her, because wasn't that the minimum 25 bucks or something, or whatever it
Probably.
was? Yeah. And I was like,
Probably.
I'm going to buy her two of those dang strips. And I sent her that $25. And I'm just, look how happy we are. Me and Kim talk about pigs and strips. I mean, it's just so good.
Ah,
It changes everything, changes your vibrancy, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So proactive gratitude. And I will just say this too, because Kim alluded, she's a woman of faith, and me too. One of the things that you can do is just get your fanny up, 15 minutes earlier than everybody else in your house, and sit in a chair quietly with a nice tea, coffee, whatever your thing is, and just look around like you're safe. You're in a great spot. Got an opportunity to make some money today. I mean, it's all good, right? So I love that. Okay. Second principle you have is use and see money as a tool, because people got all sorts of frameworks around what money is, right?
Absolutely. And so when we are grateful for our money, then we know that it can do good in the world. And we
Mhm.
literally should be grateful for every bill that we pay. So you're going to sit down, look at all those tools that you got to have happen, and the people on the other end of that. Be grateful for the electric company, be grateful for the bank that helped you buy a home, because you certainly probably couldn't pay cash for it. Some people can, but be grateful for that, right? Like just see it as a tool, an instrument of change. That's what tools are. And so that is a super easy thing. Again, it's free to do. And I promise you, you will get results. And sometimes we don't even know about the results. Sometimes just amazing things happen. So I buy life insurance on my grandchildren, and I had two. One was 2 years old and one was 1 year old. So it was time to just get that done. We delayed and it was time to do it. And
Yeah.
so I got the policies approved, sent in all the paperwork, went to my bookkeeper, and she said, well, we just got this. And these were small dollars, but we just got this investment to pay out. Do you want me to just use that money to pay annual premiums on policies with the extra paid up addition to make them have even more cash? Well, yes. Right. I mean, that's the kind of thing that can happen when you're open to that.
That's right. That's right. So you just threw something in there that I don't want everybody to miss. You said, be grateful for the electricity. And I just want to tap on that because it's really powerful. One time, Kim, I was up at Ann's Direct. She was my mentor for a long time. She's up in Statesville. She has this retreat center, Christian faith-based retreat center, but all these businesses have like board meetings and stuff in her space. And it's just so lovely. Well, I don't know how long ago it's been, 10 years, 15 years. She prayed one day over the food. But before she did, she said, I just want to thank, God for the seeds. I want to be thankful for the sower of the seed. I want to be thankful for the person who tended the seed. I want to be thankful for the water that fell from the sky. She it was long, but
Yeah.
she was trying to show us and show gratitude and pray at the same time. Like, you have no idea who all is making your life fantastic today. Well,
Right.
I have adopted that. And so the last time I did it was about 2 weeks ago. I was out at Charlotte Mecklenburg. That's our county here, Charlotte Mecklenburg Park. And a dentist firm had hired me to do team training. And so we're all in this park. And as we're walking into the park, Kim, there was this sign and it had the gentleman's name on there. Let me see if I can remember it. He'll come to me. Beatty. His last name was Beatty, like Beatty's Ford Road, which is a big road that goes through Charlotte. His picture was out there. He'd been in World War One, World War II, and his family donated this huge, beautiful piece of land in Charlotte with this pond, and we're all in the dentist firm inside this building that's air conditioned and this, with plants and flowers and ducks. And so I opened up the session and said, I want everybody to stand up. I want you to look around. Mr. Beatty was here. And they're like, what? But I went through that whole thing. It's this thing of this guy did so many things for us and we don't even know.
Yeah.
Mr. Beatty.
Love it.
Right? Oh, so good.
Are you ready to build your vibrant culture? Bring Nicole Greer to speak to your leadership team, conference, or organization to help them with their strategies, systems, and smarts to increase clarity, accountability, energy, and results. Your organization will get lit from within. Email her at nicole@vibrantculture.com and be sure to check out Nicole's TEDx talk at vibrantculture.com.
All right, so I didn't want y'all to miss that because Kim is advanced, y'all. You're going to have to read all of her books and listen to her podcast and do all the stuff and call her up and get help with your money. Okay, number 3, listen to this. Create in a be, then do way. Yeah, talk about that one. That's good.
Well, it's picking right up on our goals here of giving gratitude first and having the faith, if you want to use that word, the confidence, if the faith word doesn't work for you, that you can be, and this is part of culture, the value creator in the room so that you can then do value creation things. And then, of course, we know that the saying goes, you'll have what it is that you want. So it's be, do, have, as opposed to have, do, be. And I always like when we're out and about and see these amazing parks or, maybe somebody's nice car or nice clothing or nice home or whatever it is.
Right.
And us human beings, I mean, we just go, well, what did she do to get that? Well, it's not the have that she has. It's not the do that she did. It's who was she being, right? We are human beings. We are not We are not human doings, although I fall into human doing quite a bit, but
Oh, me too.
we are human beings.
Yeah. And I think that that also applies to, like, again, I've got folks that are in HR and leaders listening to this. That applies to promotions too. Right? Like at work, it's how did he get that new job or how did he get that position or have it, right? What did he do? Well, at the end of the day, Kim, somebody shared this with me like a year ago, and I think it's fantastic. They said the most important conversations about you at work are when you're not in the room.
Right?
I was like, "Oh, dang, that is so good, right? That is so stinking good." Because it's like if you have Kim and you have Nicole and they're both up for the same position, they both know how to do the job. What are you looking at now? You're looking at the
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
And
So good.
again,
All right.
free, right? Totally free. We can choose who we are being every
Mhm.
single moment of the day.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, okay, and don't miss this. Here's where we're at. Y'all, we haven't even got out of the introduction. You're gonna have to get the book. All right, core principles for busting a scarcity mindset. The next one is match your money, which is not going to go to your checking account. Let's review to values.
So, a great friend loves to travel, absolutely wants to go to Italy and France and Spain and all the things, right? And so she forgoes all drinks. So, when she goes out to coffee with friends, she brings her water bottle. When she goes to dinner, she has water. And so every single time, whatever she would have spent, and I don't remember whether she drinks alcohol or not, but we know that those can be some hefty bills,
Right,
right?
$20 a shot these days. It seems like wow.
She puts that money, whatever she would have spent. I mean, it's $5 for Coke these days. She puts that money in her travel fund. And so she is living her life with the values that are important to her. And just like we were just speaking about, people look at her, oh my gosh, for the job that you hold, how are you able to do that travel? Well, it's an important value to her. And so she forces her money to live the life that she wants to live, not what all of her friends are doing or all of anybody is doing. When it comes time to gift, she makes handmade things and then does the same routine. Here's this $50. And maybe she has some skin in the game for the handmade item, but it just makes her life serve her and her money serve her and her values and the things that are important to her. And so this is so important in a world where we just are constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses. And it's true about all things. I remember a long time ago, somebody added up, I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay, that's the new Beverly Hills of California, in case you're not familiar with this.
Oh,
And
for real?
oh
I
yeah,
was just there. Nobody told me. Okay.
oh yeah, it's
But I thought it was super bougie. I mean, I'm
oh
just
yeah,
saying.
for sure, for sure. So I got my nails done every day, right? Like that's what we did. And somebody added up for me how much I spent a year on getting my nails done. It was $3,000. This was 25 years ago.
Right, right,
I promptly stopped because I said, you know what, for me, and here's the cool thing, no judgment, right? If
right.
$3,000
No,
and having good nails is important to you, then please go do that. But for me, that was not important. I was not willing to spend that kind of money to have my nails have color on them or anything else. And so onward we go. And that's just the kind of decision that you're in control of making. Nobody
yeah,
gets to tell you whether it's the right thing for you to spend your money on.
yeah. And I got something just flashed in my brain, Kim, that is so crazy. I remember you telling me one time, I don't know what we were doing or if how or what situation we were in, but you said, when I get my hair done, I do it during the week and I take work to do while I'm getting my hair done because I think it's a chore. Or you said something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And I was like, I am never getting my hair done on Saturday again because it is a chore.
Yep.
And so now, I mean, tomorrow I'm getting my hair done, literally tomorrow. And my person always says to me, "Why don't you want to relax?" I'm like, "This is not relaxing."
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I'm going to read this book or check these emails or whatever while I'm getting this hair done. So I think that's hilarious. But the value is I want my Saturday so I go fiddle in my yard. I don't want to get in the car and go sit with goo in my
You
hair.
got it. I love that.
I think that's hilarious. That just came back to my mind. Okay. All right. So match your money to your values. And let me just say one more thing about that, because you asked here at the bottom of the question. And again, we're not even out of the introduction. What are your top 5 values? I don't think people know their
No,
values.
no. Mm-mm. And there are so many cool things online these days, little quizzes that you can take to figure it out. And values shift. And so I do a
Yes.
values exercise a couple times a year. And I have my husband do the same and we compare them. And of course, some are the same, some are different. It's a very valuable exercise to get a handle on your values and then just look at them and really do try to narrow it down to 5. Most lists start with 100 or whatever, and you get 20 and then 10 and then 5. And then just look at how you're spending your money. Is it in
Yeah.
alignment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I have a list that if you email Nicole at Vibrant Culture, I'll send you the list and you can go through that list.
Awesome.
It's a great list. Okay, all right. So now number 5 is intentional income design. You say live by design rather than by default. And you that are listening, I say that the number one thing I see people do is letting life unfold. Stop living by default. How do we get an intentional design in place, Kim?
Well, it is something to be very focused on because we do spend so much time at work. And it is so critical that we love our work because it just drives such a big part of our human experience. And so the first thing to do is to love your work. Figure out how to love where you are right now. And if that's natural and you're already there, then awesome. Full speed ahead. You've already got that intentional income because you found and you're very grateful for finding. And you'll want to make sure you share with the appropriate people how grateful you are for finding a role that really fits you. And if you do not love your work, then please just shift that thought right away. I'll share a quick story. There's a friend of mine that, as a young adult, was relegated to the kitchen of a restaurant to dry the glasses, right? The drinking glasses. I can't imagine a more boring, horrible job. And this is clearly not how he wanted to be spending his time. Nevertheless, he realized that in order for him to get the job that he loved, he had to love the job that he had. And so
Don't
he
miss that.
Yep. In order to get the job that he loved, he had to love the job that he had. And so he spent every moment loving the glasses, literally loving the
Yes.
drying, loving putting it on the shelf. And if he didn't put it on the shelf with love, it came back down and he did it again. I'm not kidding. Well, it wasn't within a matter of days that the restaurant owner noticed his change in being and gave him an opportunity to take the next step, which I don't even remember what it was, doesn't matter, because he loved the job that he had in order to get a job that he loved. And this is just something that we can all do. And it's such a part of culture because think about working in an environment when every single person is loving the job that they have. And it doesn't have to be 100%, like just get to 80%, right? That's a Dan Sullivan 80% approach thing.
Right.
But if you can love 80% of it, then the other 20%, I mean, we all have a little bit of our work that we don't love. So I'm not asking you to love 100% of it, but find elements of it that you can love and really, really focus on them. Well, holy cow, then how much better of a parent, spouse, significant other you're going to be, or a friend, when you are leaving work and you're going to do the other things that you're doing. And so that's the role that we can do for free.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, and I think one of the things everywhere I go, Kim, that the folks that are my age are complaining about the people who are 20, and they're like they're so entitled. But like, what if that you just said what Kim just said to them? Right? Like they
Yeah.
just need to be taught. They
Yeah.
just need to be taught to get the job you want. You're going to have to love the job you have, right? And cleaning the glasses. I mean, I don't know. I go to a lot of places. The glasses are not clean. This is a very important role.
It is. It is.
It's huge. Okay. All right. Number 6, and don't miss what we're talking about here. We're talking about core principles for busting the scarcity mindset. Number 6 is invest in your growth. Oh, sing to my heart. Talk about it.
So you are your number one investment. Just
Yes.
know that. KNOW with all of your being. You are your number one investment. And so whether it's investing in a course to improve yourself, whether it's buying a book, whether it's investing time, right? It doesn't have to be dollars, but investing focus, right? I mean, what are we doing with these silly little phones at night? Be so, so careful the way that you invest your time. And so there are millions of different ways on your phone. If you want to be on your phone, that you can get good out of the phone and go to Mind Valley or, fill in the blank. There's a bunch of different apps where you can
That's right.
learn something and put yourself in a better space to create even more value. And maybe you're learning about your work environment, maybe not. And, if you want to go learn about underwater basket weaving, have at it. But let's
Yeah.
be learning something so that we are better as human beings. And sometimes we need to learn about maybe conversation styles or capabilities or, working with somebody that's got a challenge or what have you. Learn how to do that. Investing in yourself just plays such a role throughout every single aspect of your life. And you never know what an investment in yourself today that might not relate to your job at work could do for the next job that you have, because you already know how to do that or you've spent some time learning about that. So a lot of people are wanting an investment. They have a little bit of extra money or a lot of extra money, and they really want to invest, but they're afraid of losing that money. Well, we get what we're focused on. And so it's very important that we not be focused on the fear of losing the money. And so if we don't know anything else to do, invest in ourselves. And maybe that's some financial education or some financial competency training, because I like to say you can't homework money. So actually getting involved and going slow and starting small and doing some investments. People will say to me all the time, "Oh, I really want to do real estate investment." Awesome. How many times have you driven around your city with the single purpose of looking for a real estate investment? None. Well, please go do that, right? Like, let's get started. Go take the broker out that sells investment real estate, whatever level of the game it is. If it's a single family home, great. If it's a hotel or, a big office complex, great. Find somebody that's in that space and take them to lunch. That's an investment. That's potentially the best $50 you'll spend to
100%.
learn how to do the things that you want to be doing, or that you at least are saying that you like the idea of.
That's right. Yeah, because people will throw all sorts of things around it. So just to illustrate what she's saying, I did training on Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. And I had 21, what I call eagles in the room. These are young people that the manufacturing facility has said, these guys and gals have potential. And so I got them all in the room. But before I ever, ever started talking to them about leading, all we talked about was getting themselves prepared. And one of the things the young man said is, "Well, Nicole, it's great that you're talking about my future and everything, but what about money?" So the one thing that I always talk to them about, and you've got a book. Hold on. Don't I have it right here? What's the one you have about 401k?
Busting the retirement lies.
Oh, busting the retirement lies. Okay.
Yep.
So I told them, I said, well, first thing I want you to do is I want you to find out what the match is on the 401k.
Yep. Love
That's
it.
the first thing I want you to do
Yeah.
before you start talking to me about money. And they're like, "Oh, I think it's, whatever it is, 4%, 5%, whatever they said." Okay, are you in at 5% or whatever the number is? I'm like, it's free money.
Yep.
Like, your employer's trying to give you money and you're complaining about a raise. I need you to take the free money they're offering you today. And they're
Love
just
it.
like, but they don't, but we have to, if we want to talk about money, we have to learn about money. Yes.
100%. And it is not something that we were taught in schools. If you even had a financial class, it was probably how to trade stocks or something like that. And it's just a really interesting space. I just hired a writer to take 3 of my books and summarize them and make them appropriate for high schoolers.
Stop.
It's awesome. Yes, yes. And he made an attempt to compare owning a car, renting a car, taking Uber all the time, having a van, riding a bicycle, riding a motorbike, and I think there were a few others.
Right.
And
Skateboard.
yeah, exactly.
Rollerblades.
Totally. He did the math wrong. Personal finance math is very tricky. It has opportunity costs associated with, most people forget, and it's got the element of time in it, right? So you can't not use one of these little handheld calculators for it. You have to have a financial calculator, future value, present value, like those types of calculations. And so I said, you just please stick with the writing. Let me do the math. And in full disclosure, I get my husband to help me because he's more the math head. But I know when I see a problem, and I knew that his math was wrong. And so
Right.
it's a space that we absolutely must dig in on and learn. And, you said something funny. These people are saying, well, I think it's 4 to 5%. Well,
Right.
find out for sure.
Yes. Yes. And the other thing is, they have a bonus program and they're like, well, it changed. And I'm like, that's okay. The
Learn.
entrepreneur who is running this deal changed it. And they have the prerogative. When you run your own deal, you can change your deal, And, I know some people really just don't want to be the entrepreneur. They want to work for somebody else. But
Yeah.
something you said earlier is huge. You still have to be entrepreneurial.
Yep.
Yeah, and do your thing. Okay, we're at number 7. Okay, so don't miss. I want to repeat myself because I'm trying to poke it all down in my brain. That's why I repeat these things to you. It's for my services and then to help you. Core principles. 7 core principles, friend. Collaborate for exponential increase. Okay, I just can't get enough of 10 times in my life. So help me here.
Right. Well, this originated with Dan Sullivan, collaborate, don't compete, right?
Yeah.
And it's so true in our personal financial lives also. So I am aware of a whole group of stay-at-home moms that are dedicated to raising their children, also very conscious about their money. And so they trade services. So the one mom that likes to go to Sam's Club or whatever goes for everybody. The one mom that really loves doing laundry does for everybody, right? So there's just a super simple example of collaboration. Well, it's true in the workplace too. You have these high level execs that feel like they've got to keep all their knowledge to themselves. That is not helpful. And so if they'll collaborate, and sometimes this is across departments, sometimes it's valuable across company lines, sometimes just collaborating with your competition, the person that you think is your competition, collaborating with them, you actually might find a nuance or maybe a product that they provide that's actually better, or a service that they do that's different than yours, or what have you. And we can get so much good when we go into things with a collaborative mindset. Plus, it enables us to understand that there are things that we don't know. And no matter how much learning we do, how much time we spend at night on our cell phones learning, there's going to be things that somebody else has better because they've experienced that thing. And so, again, finding those people, collaborating, being humble enough to listen. And we got to remember we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. When we go to collaborate, we listen. And it's just an amazing space that can occur when we stop trying to figure out what we're going to say next and we just listen. And we're humble enough to acknowledge that we don't know everything and we're going to listen. And I love the term humble confidence because I can be very confident as a person. I don't need to be a doormat to be humble. But at the same time, if I'm not humble, I am not going to be able to learn.
Right. And a humble doormat, there's this weird thing. I call it like false humility.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little weird, icky thing, like martyrdom or some, I don't know. Some
Very
weird
well
thing.
said.
Like,
yes.
yeah. It's like, no, don't do that. Humble is just like, I know what I'm good at.
Yep.
Confidence. I know what I'm not good at.
Yep.
And of course, this man we keep talking about, Dan Sullivan, please go look him up, everybody. He would say that you have a unique ability and to stay in that place as much as you can. Yeah. And that's the humility part, that I don't belong over there. I belong right here.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that's good. All right. Now you're going to get the book, I hope. So again, here it is for my YouTube friends: Busting the Scarcity Mindset, Your Guide to Becoming a Prosperity Thinker, by Kim Butler, and also her friend, Kristen Huggins.
Correct. It's
Huggins. Okay. All right. Well, you do have 2 bonus chapters in the book, I noticed. Okay. And so one is Share the Love, Abundant Families and Relationships. And you've got a quote by Winston Churchill: "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." So will you elaborate on that a little bit? I think this is a great bonus.
Yes, it's so valuable to share wisdom and proactive gratitude with our family members. And so often, I think, especially with spouses, we just flat out take them for granted. And so that space of our family, our physical space of our home, the cultural space of the attitude within that is so, so valuable. And because money isn't everything, but money affects everything, we want to make sure that we've got our monetary game down. And it's so, so important for spouses in particular, or significant others that are sharing a space, to have the conversations around money. It's so important to have them also with our children, because there's a whole environment there in the dinner table arena that they can learn from. And people want to maybe be fearful about talking about money at the dinner table. No, again, money isn't everything, but money affects everything. And your children are picking up on monetary signals every single day. Make sure they're picking up some of those from you. I
Right.
actually coach an entire, it's called the dinner table method, inside my prosperity parents community. Yes, I do love the word prosperity. That space for those families that have children. I like to say, frankly, financial competency is from ages 3 to 103 because
Yes.
truly, once we get past sort of the basics and maybe we're in our 30s and 40s, there's another level of financial competency that we have to learn. And then if we're earning a lot of money, there's another level. And then if we have a big business or a farm or whatever, then there's another level. It's just unending. And all of these spaces can be spoken about beneficially around the dinner table.
Yeah, absolutely. And David and I went to some parenting thing. When you have the first one, you're like, we got to do all the things. And so at
Right.
church, they had this thing about the dinner table. And so it's probably very similar to what you talk about in your book. But it was like, no matter what, like, even if it's 8:30 at night, we're going to sit at this table.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Yep.
take it in front of a television. We're not going to do
Yep.
all that. We're going to eat this cereal for
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about, maybe we're too busy for eating cereal at 8:30 at night, or whatever, but we're going to talk about it at that dinner table. And I think the other thing too is, if we go back, hold on, let me go backwards. I'm allowed. I'm in charge of this. Going backwards. The create in a be then do way, number 3. What's so funny is, all of you that have children that are young and you're trying so hard. So first of all, Kim and I honor you, because been there, done that.
Yep.
But but here's the thing. I went out to Montana. This is a good example. I went out to Montana a couple 4 weeks, 5 weeks ago, whatever it was. And my son didn't know I was behind him, and he was talking about me. And he was talking to his friend TJ. And he says, "Oh, well, my mom is the hardest worker I know." And like, I do work hard, but I love it. Like, like, you're thinking, these 2 chicks, they really must like to work. We do. We
Yeah.
absolutely think work is fun. It's play. But anyway, so your children are watching your attitude towards work. They're watching all your moves about your intentional income design, that we love our work. Okay, so good. All right, last one. Bring us home. There's another bonus chapter. See how generous Kim is? The metaphysical economy. She's got a quote from Albert
Mm.
Einstein: "Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted." Oh, that's good.
It is good, isn't it? And gosh,
Yes, thank you,
the
Albert.
yes, the wisdom of that creator, really. It is so, so important. And if that quote is too long for you to grasp, let's add this one.
Okay.
that we can choose not to participate in recessions. Okay, now when we're
Oh my God.
right. Yeah. When we're recording this today, the economy's great, the stock market's great, everything's great. We all know that's going to change. And that's part of the business cycle. That's just the natural space. But we still mentally can choose not to participate in recessions, because everybody will get into that mental funk of complaining about what's not going right. And yet we all know that there are businesses that do fabulously well in those environments. And there are people, individuals that do fabulously well in those environments. And so the metaphysical economy, that chapter is designed to help you understand how much of our economy is in thought, and how much control we really do have over our own personal economies, as well as the business environment that we're in, as well as the larger just community economy, as well as the larger nation's economy, as well as the larger worldwide economy. And so, again, really important to know that that all starts in our thinking, and that we can truly add a metaphysical element, which just means above the physical, to whatever it is that we're doing around all monetary aspects, around work, around business, around service, around profit, around estate planning, around all the products that we buy and the strategies that we implement with, can all have a metaphysical approach, which is just taking a look at what's there and then taking a look at what is there that's just a little bit behind the scenes, or maybe a little bit above. And that goes back to Albert's quote in terms of it can't all be counted.
That's right. That's right. Things are going on that we cannot see, right? Yeah. And so you got to get your mind in the game, people. You got to have a prosperity thinker mindset. All right. So all my people are like, there's only 2 bonus chapters. Does Kim have one more nugget? One more nugget, Kim. What can you pull out of the recesses? Oh, and I wanted to say something, but I was so pulled in by what you were saying. So you were saying about learning something earlier. If invest in yourself in your learning. Okay, so I want to say something about that real quick that Kim was talking about. So I have a client right now, and I'm going to call him Mr. X, and he is the greatest reader. Like, by the time I coach him and I coach him again, he's like, I read these books, and I'm like, wow. And
Nice.
like, he doesn't watch TV. He's a reader.
Right. Right.
And oh my God. And so anyway, I got to see him in action, like in his job. And he is talking about something, and then he'll pull this thing out from the recesses. And then he'll go, oh, well, I have an example. I read about, and then he's like, and oh, well, think about this. I saw this model one time. And the thing about it is that like everybody watching him's like, he's a ninja.
Yeah.
He's so, don't miss this, everybody, valuable.
Yeah.
Just because
Love
he's
it.
a reader. So I didn't
Yep.
want that to go past, because I'm like, leaders read. I've said that 1,000 times. Okay,
Oh,
one more
gosh.
nugget from Kim Butler, everybody. One more nugget.
Well, one of my favorite questions is, how do you learn best? Because you're
Ooh.
right, leaders do read, but some people truly learn better by listening. Well, thank goodness there's audibles and there's podcasts, right? Other
Mhm.
people learn best by watching. Well, thank goodness there's YouTube and other video capabilities. And then, of course, there is a fourth method, which is those that need to get their hands on things. You remember that Colby profile that we work with in Strategic
That's right.
Coach? The fourth number of Colby is implementer, which is tools. And so my husband's a 6338 implementer oriented Colby
Can
gentleman,
he
and
come
has
over?
nothing to do. Yeah.
I
So
need him to come over. I
definitely
got some things for him
skilled
to
on the
touch.
honeydew jobs for sure. For sure. So think about how you learn best, and then go pick something that you want to learn with. That's just super helpful on the mental space, because if we're going to be busting the scarcity mindset, we want to push the scarcity thinking away, but we need to have prosperous thinking that we're feeding our brains with. So whatever it is that you are learning, whether it's video or reading or listening, That's what you're feeding your brain with. And that in time will just fill up your brain, and those scarcity thoughts won't come as often. Believe me, I still have scarcity thoughts every single day, but I get rid of them super fast, and they do come less often because I start my day with good, heavy, spiritual, deep, impactful things that can really stay there and resonate there. And whether you put it on your phone and alarm your phone every couple hours to just remind you of a quote that you read that morning, or anything that you can do to bring whatever good morning habits we have into our day, that will help the culture, right? Our mind's culture, as well as everything that's around. And then I want to share one more financial thing, and that's that,
Please.
and I'm going to do it in two parts. When people are young and they're saving, right? Saving is a verb. Like, everybody wants to talk about investments, but the first act should be saving. You want to build up that emergency fund, but you also want to be building opportunity funds, right? So please pick your emergency fund number. For young people, it's probably 5 or 10 grand. Great. Could be 100 grand. Doesn't matter what the number is. Pick that, get that solved, but then keep building, right? Keep saving is the act of a verb to build the opportunity fund. Well, how big should your opportunity fund be? Well, how high is up, right? Why you really want to be focused on that. It is the actual dollars that you're putting in that matters. It's not the interest rate that you do or do not get. So don't spend all this time trying to find the perfect high yield savings account or whatever it is that you want to store your cash in. A lot of my clients utilize whole life insurance as the place to store their opportunity funds. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the money that you're putting in. Okay, so that's point one. When you're young, what matters is the money that you're putting in. When you get into the more older, not only from a human standpoint, but also more experienced from a financial standpoint, then of course interest rate matters. And what becomes uber important at that stage of the game, it doesn't matter 40s, 50s, 60s, however old you are, is not losing principal. And so much of our investment activity is actually gambling. And that's why we talked about investing in yourself, because you need to have the financial knowledge. Please do not defer your personal economy to your broker dude or your friend from college or, whoever.
And if you call him dude, he's the wrong guy. Okay, go ahead.
It's so important that we not lose principle. I mean, it's just shocking to know the financial math of what you have to earn to overcome loss of principal. And so really take a look at your investments, make sure that you're not gambling, and actually invest. And if you don't know how to do that, then just save, right? Savings is a noun. The storing of cash and liquidity is so important in our financial lives. But again, everybody that's a financial advisor, they want to talk about investments. That's the cool, sexy stuff. And yet it's the cash and the liquidity that lets us solve emergencies and take advantage of opportunities. And so if you need help in that space, then reach out, because I've got, as you stated, 11 books on Amazon and lots of podcast episodes. And I love teaching and helping people implement this space, because the teaching's great. You and I both know this. The learning is the first step, but without implementation, it's not getting you any results.
That's right. Yeah. Implementation. Application. Yeah. So that was like 3 extra nuggets, folks. Are you kidding me? All right. You're so lucky. I'm so lucky. Kim, thank you so much for being on the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. All right, everybody, go out and get this book, Busting the Scarcity Mindset. I've got it in my stack of stuff right here. I'm going to get it thoroughly read. I would like you to find Kim. You can find her over at linkedin.com, and she's got her cute little blonde hair and her glasses on. She's also, of course, on the Facebook, the Instagram, the X, the YouTube, the TikTok. Her website is prosperitythinkers.com, and you can listen to her podcast at prosperitythinkers.com/podcast. And she's got, just go to the Amazon, all 11 books will show up. Get one, friends. It'll do you good. Kim, I'm grateful.
Nicole, such a joy. So glad we got to talk.
Yeah, me too. All right, everybody, do this. Go down right now, click the like button, and, put in the comment something like, I'm going to be a prosperity thinker, and hit send, and you will help 2 girls out. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more like-minded listeners. Remember, the journey to building a vibrant culture never stops. Stay inspired, keep nurturing your vibrant culture, and we can't wait to reconnect with you on the next exciting episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more like-minded listeners. Remember, the journey to building a vibrant culture never stops. Stay inspired, keep nurturing your vibrant culture, and we can't wait to reconnect with you on the next exciting episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast.